I was just explaining to people the other day how people from other states can't tell the difference between Minnesota and Wisconsin. We're just alike. You get outside.
My apologies.
That's okay. It's a nationwide problem. Okay. I was just thinking, in China, they invest in power plants and education degrees. In America here, we invest in IRS auditors. Grim sign for the future. Just a general question. Say between 2010 and 2023, about what percentage of returns were paper and what percent were computer filed? I mean, I take every year that the gap shrinks, or the gap. About. I'm not going to PolitiFact you.
We're up over 90% at this point that are filed electronically.
And you know what it was 15 years ago?
It was a lot lower. I think it was closer to 50%.
Yeah, so when you go from 50% computer filed to 93% or something, you would expect you need less auditors, wouldn't you? I mean, there'd be something wrong if you computerized to that degree and had the same number of auditors.
I think it depends on the complexity of the filing, because some of the files that we receive electronically are thousands of pages long, and we're seeing a spike in the complexity of large multinational corporations.
Okay, I'll just rely on common sense. If we have more computerized returns, we would expect less IRS auditors. That's why we encourage people to file electronically. But we'll go on to something else. I've had clients feel that political activity on their part leads to audits. I don't know that that's true or not. We've talked on the Oversight Committee about the politicization of the FBI. I wondered, have you guys ever done a study? We don't do it in Wisconsin, but other states, people register Republican, Democrat. Is your employee pool about 50-50, or are we tilting too much towards one political belief? Do you have any idea?
We absolutely don't ask that question. I think it would be inappropriate for us to ask that of our staff. We do make it clear that it is fundamental value of the IRS that politics has no place in our operations or our decision-making.
Okay, next question. We talk about wealthy people not paying taxes. We got to look into it. And sometimes they don't pay taxes because of foolish public policy decisions made by the people up here. I'm thinking things like a tax credit for a fancy electric vehicle, or Section 42 tax credits for wily wealthy builders. Could you give us an idea of why wealthy people may not be paying taxes?
I think we see two trends. One is what I'll call very aggressive avoidance, where they're looking for the best tax advantage status, but because we have not been on an appropriate watch, they've pushed too far into the gray area and need to be pulled back. And the second is intentional evasion, moving money into offshore.
Do you think usually when wealthy people put a zero at the bottom of their tax return, it's they did something wrong?
Certainly not in every case. I would imagine in most cases, no.
Well,
but the number.
Well, why don't you look into us or do a study of people, I don't know, people who it appears have a lot of wealth who aren't paying taxes, and let us know what type of tax.
There have been studies done. I'm happy to share some with you.
Good. Now, the next question. The Inspector General reports that the IRS erroneously issued 3.3 million advance child tax credits to 1.5 million ineligible Americans. Can you explain how this happened? And can you also explain to us why one-for-one tax credits invite cheating?
Yeah, there's always program integrity challenges with any federal program where you're outlaying money to beneficiaries. Unfortunately, there are many who would look to exploit the complexity of our tax system, either for their own financial advantage or victimize someone along the way. It's stealing a credit. It is a problem.
I'm sorry, dollar-for-dollar credits, things like earned income tax credit, child tax credit. It's so easy to cheat and make a lot of money, right? Isn't that the problem with those things?
The one clarification I would offer is that a large amount of the error is more basic mistakes because of how complicated it is to apply for it. But there is a part of the error which is concerning. It's a small part, but it's a concerning part, which is intentional fraud.
Okay. We'll go for another one. They're not going to stop me. Did the IRS see more child tax credit claims filed after the American Rescue Plan made an increase in the child tax credit? Did the number of claims go up?
I'm not sure. I'd have to get back to you on that.
Okay, be illuminating if they are. The IRS reported as of July 31st. Well, why don't I'll turn it back over to my substitute chairman here.
The distinguished gentleman from Wisconsin yields back his time. The gentleman from Florida, Mr. Foss, recognized.